we should be going live. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Cheech from Crush This Monster Truck Podcast. Brad's in the background putting our social media to work so people can follow. Don't mind that one. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, YouTube, stuff like that. So Brad's doing that right now. I want to thank High Octane Coffee. We are doing a giveaway. That's going to be December 14th. I got the order, the one chip over to send that to Brad. We're going to do that on the 14th. He's giving me the number one. He's such a good friend. And so I mean, his Oilers beat my Pens for this round. So I give him that break. So he has to win something, right? So but we came back and knocked down the Canucks and the Kraken, so we're pretty good right now. But outside that talk, hopefully you guys can hear me pretty good. I'm trying this setup with the microphone, so if you guys can give me some feedback, that'd be awesome. I know it's a big old mic, but I need to get myself a little stand. I'm gonna be jealous at these two guys, Brad and Tony, because their setup's all cool and stuff. But outside that, well, I thank Joey Sylvester, High Octane Coffee. Like I said, we are doing a contest. Just got some prizes from our that is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a big Christmas getaway package from High Octane, J Concepts, JB Scales. If you're into RC stuff also and you're starting something, you need a good project, there's gonna be some stuff coming around. Also some cool memorabilia from our last guest. And that's going to be awesome, too. So this is going to be a big product. So if you guys also go to, I'm going to plug this other group, the Throttle Out Show, and you get yourself a awesome RC truck that they're giving away. We got the accessories to make your RC truck a little bit better looking. So, so go there and sign up and, be friends with all those guys and sweet talk them and kiss and all that stuff, and go get that RC truck, and then come over here and then try to get the giveaway and contest, so you could put like a cool body or some high octane or some cool swag. Maybe you can make a truck like that or something like that, a Skull Bandit or something. But do that giveaway. But we're gonna have also thank you to J Concepts, JB Scale Graphics, Nick Davis from Back Channel Productions. Go take a look at his awesome stuff right now. He just uploaded a Mega versus Monster truck at West Lebanon, New York. Normally that's a Monster Jam or a big Monster Jam show, but this time it was the versus Monster truck. Steve Perry, shout out to him. Hey, what's going on? So give him some love in that. Go watch that. Also with that too, like I said, I am throwing in that giveaway a Dan Rente Bigfoot card back in 2019 that I got from Monster Truck Radio from Jeff Richards. So I'm throwing that in there. And also, water bottle thrown down. Gonna throw in Making Tracks, awesome comic book. It's awesome. This is gonna be something, just doing a giveaway. And you know what? And since I'm being generous enough here, I got so much paperwork, it's not even funny. And if you guys want, how about some old school hero cards? I'll throw in that, whatever hero cards are in there, and go from there. A whole arsenal of, my recent RC truck. It was a real monster truck, and people, do it like that. So there's going to be a huge giveaway. So I don't know. Those are now cards are all folded done. Maybe I won't send them, but I will send Making Tracks, Justin Stories. Awesome guy. He sponsors our podcast, which is pretty freaking cool. That's coming out. He has also a poetry. That book, by the way, the Making Tracks, is like $10 a pop on Amazon, or message him on Facebook. He's also doing poetry about horror and Christmas stuff. So I guess mix it all together and blah blah. So go from there, and all the proceeds, that's $12, goes to a military charity of his choosing. So He's going to get all that going on. We also like to say thank you to 6B. We have crew shirts for sale at $100 a pop. Ask me or Brad. It will be custom designed with a new wave or the old school logo that's like, that's the downfall of having a microphone. You can't even produce your own ad. So you can take a look at that stuff too. Who else am I wondering? I don't know. But next week's guest, let's see here. It's the dates. I can't figure out date. 14th. Gosh darn it, that's the Christmas special. So me and Brad are gonna do the one chip challenge, and then for the week of Christmas, I did a recording of we are gonna have a recording. We did a recording video and audio, and I did an interview with Alan Pizzo. So the week after our Christmas thing, on the weekend of Christmas, will be Mr. Alan Pizzo, popular Predator, stuff like that, will be as the guest for that fun time. So outside that, the news and everything like that, just getting ready for Monster Jam and stuff like that. Want to let people know that if you followed our tune in on Tuesday with Hall Brothers Racing, we're going to get that back and running here. So we're going to do a little short segment about getting prepped for first quarter. First quarter, if people may not know, which I think a lot of people follow this program, know what first quarter is. But if you're new to it, first quarter is basically the big season for monster trucks. So many promoters, basically nonstop from January to normally it's March, but now it's May. But we'll go from there. But this episode, we're going to go and learn about the smaller scale and the very, very popular and a good, awesome ambassador for the solid monster truck world. And we're going to talk to Mr. Tony CC and off of the CCRC. So we're going to get this ball started, and we'll get ready here in right now.
This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Agosh. Buckle in. The show starts now.
And welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast. My name is Brad Shaw, and you guys have already obviously heard from Dan, and might as well update you guys a little bit on what I've got going on as well. If I seem tired, I kind of am. I've been studying for a stupid test with this school thing, so
he's a schoolboy.
I'm a schoolboy now. Back to school.
Hey,
back to school.
Gives you an example to look like Angus Young. Get that guitar out. Get some AC/DC blowing. Yeah.
I wish I was in high school, Billy.
I love the shares.
So yeah, got that going on, and then
yeah, you're ready for next week, Brad? I am gonna order everything tonight, and I need your address because I knew dang well they're gonna ship it to you by a week. So
you better make sure it comes within the week, okay?
I'll try. I'll speedy delivery it. I'll try to throw it across the border. I will drive up there and just toss it. It's over the border, Brad. It's your job to pick it up.
But no, everything's going good with me. Still doing some design work for the Buck Motorsports Park. If you guys didn't know, Zane Ritu has acquired the Buck Motorsports Park, and some of my designs for some of the events are already out for the rodeo and the New Year's bash that they're doing. And
I'll be there for New Year's Eve.
Nice, dude.
Zane already, so
that's awesome,
I'll be
man.
Representing you and just talk crap behind your back, and then get you more product. So that's what I'm gonna do. But no, I'm gonna have fun. So I want to see that car drop.
That's going to be good. But today's episode is something that I know a little bit about. Like I have this thing sitting here, my Losi Mini T 2.0. I got this guy, and then I have my Red Cat Everest 10 crawler. But we got Tony with CCxRC. How's it going today, bud?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Man, his
Enjoying it. That's a
voice
killer intro. I always love it.
Thank you. Hey, man, you sound like you're from an XM radio station.
It's
Sirius XM. Welcome to High Octane.
It's that microphone.
You met me in person before. I'm much,
Yeah.
very low key. Doesn't sound anything like this.
Oh man, having you in person.
All processing.
It was an awesome time. We'll talk about your history and stuff like that. But you went to my first hosting of RC event. Thank you once again for everyone that came, and also the sponsors, J Concepts, JB Scale Graphics, Horizon Hobby, and Cal RC. I just want to know, like, how did you like it? What did you get in feedback? And
Oh man, I had a blast. There's a couple things. I've never been able to run 2 whole sets of races in a day like that before. That was wild. I like the randomized kind of just drawings, get into it, get racing. And if you felt like you didn't do great the first time around, there was a whole nother series of races. You only paid in one time. It was super cool. Atmosphere is tight, but I like it because it kind of forced everybody to stay kind of together in a way. So, you couldn't really get away from each other. So if you smelled bad or you didn't like somebody, you were screwed. But for the rest of us, it was a great time.
Right. I started wondering about, it's like, I don't even think I'm going to have starting enough. I didn't realize how many people were coming. I just like, I'll just throw this out here. And, you get your normal, hey, I'm going to come. And then like 2 months later, ghost or don't show up. So that's why I was like, then I see people going, I'm coming. I had a lot more people go, I'm thinking about coming. So,
yeah.
And then like the kind of few days beforehand, they're like, I already did my hotels, already did everything. And, I just try to I just thought, if I want to go to an event, I want to make it have a hospitality, drinks, you can grab a drink and, or food, we'll get you food. I hate it when we're racing. I go spend money for John. He's on, his sons are, his sons, 4x4 racing and stuff like that. But I mean, when you're at some of these events, there's not really a place to go eat. Maybe there's only like 40 or 45 minutes. Honestly, where our shop's at, you can go about 10 minutes to get something to eat, but I didn't want to put that in that situation.
Yeah, but you give people 10 minutes and then like, an hour and a half later, people kind of stroll back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
so that helped the day move along. I didn't know that. I stopped at the gas station and just brought like, a turkey sandwich that's in like some kind of wrap of some kind. It wasn't very good, but it was last minute. I was just like, cause I didn't want to leave once I got there. I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy that's going to roll out and be, holding things up. So it was awesome. Freestyle. You guys had a freestyle at the end too, which was really fun. I had a good run going until I didn't. And that's always the case, right?
Right. People are still talking about that one guy who got the RC on his lap, Cooper. He put it on video and stuff, and it's pretty funny, to be honest with you. But they did.
Does that want to hit his camera?
Yeah. Hit the lens cover. So everything else, he said the camera was good. So that's cool.
It was a direct hit.
Hey,
one thing I just wanted to add, you mentioned about you had a bunch of people coming to the event and stuff, and you were like you thought only a few people were going to show. It just shows the popularity of the solid axle, especially in that area, like because you're so close to St. Louis, and there's the Trigger King group, and then in that area seems to be kind of like a hub for that kind of stuff. That's just what it looks like to me as kind of an outsider to the whole solid axle world.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Michigan that could come down. They're not too far. You've got Ohio. It's a pretty good hub where you guys are located. It's kind of central to a bunch of different people that could come in. So that definitely works for you. I thought it was fun. It was tight, but it was good racing. It made for really good racing. You guys kept it moving. I like the little pucks for lights that you guys do as well. You don't have to really stage. It's like just put it at the line. It's not like, oh, you're off by a centimeter, you got to roll it. So I don't know. I thought it went off easy. That made it quick. It's just like from red to green, and you're not red lighting because there's not that yellow to give you it's all reactionary to seeing the green. So it changes things a lot,
And also I try to make the track simple. I mean, I've seen tracks like at a couple of RC events, including the one that I'm part of with Trigger King, where it's like I gotta make a left turn, gotta make a right turn. In that right turn, there's another ramp. I gotta go around this pole about 2 times and then come out in the finish line. I just base the track off of a certain monster truck related real life track and just go from there. And the only track change pretty much was to take a bunch of cars in the middle section for the retro, and then boom, I base it off of St. Louis 1999. It's just you can make 3 tracks out of the deal, and that's all I was trying to do. I really didn't know about how slick concrete can affect racing, and I learned that. And actually, to be further news, I went to a carpet company, and they are going to help me with the dimensions of the layout itself. So next year is going to be the track itself is going to be a carpet.
Just roll
type.
out of carpet.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. It was fun. That first time you hit that concrete though, and you tried to turn, you learned very quick that you needed to go very slow into it because we were all sliding under the table, and I thought it was fun. Everybody kind of learned it after they hit it a couple times, and make do. But no, I thought it went off really well. I had a great time. I didn't do well, but I go there to hang out, so it was a good time.
That's all that matters. And I also, one thing I liked was everyone was congregating. There wasn't like, oh, I don't like this guy or I don't like that guy. It was just like, hey, what's going on? And just BS.
Yeah, I met a bunch of new people.
Person. So, and
it was very cool.
And it gotta be also, I mean, it's and the brothers liked it too. They didn't realize how popular or how big the solid axle stuff is. It is like, they thought it was like, some type of monster truck attitude, downhill monster truck racing where, someone else does it and you just stand back going, yeah, no, it's, RC racing in general, and it's just like, they didn't realize how, big this is. And for you, we're going to transition from the, my event and stuff like that. Once again, I'd like to thank all the people there, also Horizon Hobby and
great giveaways for our first event. I mean, the sponsors came through. Is awesome, man.
Yeah. A lot of people commented about the magnetic mat trophies. Like they said, this is something different. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, while Cal RC was like, oh, we do it all the time. So that tells me that the short course off-road racing and stuff like that, different types. If I could throw something else a little bit different, then so be it. Let's do it. And I always like to have feedback. So if you have any feedback from what you learned from other promoters or other companies and like to throw in a little mix, I'm more welcome, more than the ears about to make the product better, because that's what I want to do, is make it like a big event where
I've learned that more people have gripes than solutions. Nobody really knows what to do, but they can tell you when they don't like something and not have another solution. So you got to take some of it, on the chin, and the rest of it, you see where there really is issues or what, doesn't move things forward. I thought I thought there was a lot of awesome giveaways for the raffle. Doing the raffles was awesome for just anybody being there. Maybe their day's sucking from racing, but they won a raffle and they go away and they're like, that was an awesome weekend, or, it was just good. I think overall it's a different type of racing community it's one where, you want to show everybody what you did to your truck and how you made it different and what you're doing to make it faster. Where, other places people are like, don't look at my stuff. I've got, don't come in my pit area. I've got, something draped over my car so you can't see what I'm doing. It's just a totally different vibe. And I think it's good, at least right now, because everybody's just pushing it forward. And it's more about people that like monster trucks coming together around monster trucks and just playing toys with them and, pretending you're in the big leagues and having a good time. Some guys take it more serious than others, but it doesn't take away from the other people that are having a good time hanging out. And, we laughed so hard so many times that weekend. I mean, belly laughing at a bunch of stuff that went down. Just a good time. So
Right.
I'm ready to come again. I liked it there. It's cool to be around the scene too, like being around the real trucks, and got my kids some Raminator shirts, and it's good.
Well, we're thinking about an idea of maybe we're thinking about a bunch of ideas, like we're different ideas thrown around, saying if we do this next year in a warmer time, we may use the Horizon field down that this a couple miles away, stuff like that.
Rent a fire truck.
Huh?
Rent a fire truck.
Yeah.
Lots of water.
Stuff like that. Because you weren't the only one there that owns a Primal RC truck. I guess there was like 3 or 4 other guys saying, "Oh man, I forgot that you guys had Primals." And
I bought mine to race it.
Yeah.
I bought it to race it, and then it got canceled because of COVID. The race I was taking it to. Haven't got to race it yet. I'm bumming.
And we're thinking about doing that because Adam from Horizon has a Raminator. Mark Peterson, who owns the Reptoid truck, has a Raminator. We have 4 of them. So
yes.
3 other people can run them too. And we have our trucks are now with the electrical setup. So we don't run gas no more. But
from Primal, the brushless system?
Yeah. Okay. We run that stuff. But it doesn't matter. We just want to have fun and, just have a good time and stuff like that. John says, John, you could just borrow one of mine. Just don't destroy it. Well, heck, we just gave it to a bunch of random people to freestyle at the Texas State Fair. So I guess you'll be all right, John.
One quick thing I want to put in there. Tony, you mentioned that being around the shop, being around the trucks, I think that's an important thing because it's that environment. It creates a different vibe, I feel like, than doing it outdoors at a random venue. Doing it inside the shop where the trucks are being worked on, you're smelling the fuel, the oil. It probably creates a different vibe other than any other events you guys have done.
Yeah, or even if they had an outdoor spot at it, there's something about going to it. Like when we do the World Finals things, or anytime we do the Diggers Dungeon races down in Carolina, more people come to those races, even if it's just like a club race, because you're doing it at the dungeon, and it's just there's something cool and iconic about being at the facility. And so I think probably some people came that just said, well, maybe. And they decided, I'm going to see the Hall Brothers shop and, do some racing. And so I think that made it also a draw, because we're all like posting Instagram, hey, we're here. And everyone's like, dude, that's so cool. I want to come next year or whatever, because you're taking pictures of the truck and in the shop and the chassis. And
how do you like the picture truck?
The picture truck out front?
Yeah, you can climb on in. So basically all that is you just climb in and sit down in the monster truck, and normally we would take a picture and then it would have embroidered, and then we'll email that to you, and it's an 8x10 and stuff like that. But we thought that'd be pretty cool for fans, but it sucked that the weather was bad in the beginning. Sun came out during the afternoon, but
we were all inside. Yeah, I did go and check it out, but
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. I just checked Facebook. They just announced the second driver for the TNT Unfinished Business thing, and oh my God, Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher is back.
Wow,
that's pretty cool.
I legitimately have goosebumps right now. Oh
Those
my God,
freckles.
Well, there's goosebumps
see at least.
There's goosebumps.
more dramatic lighting on those goosebumps, so we see the shadow side of them.
Better camera.
but I just had to say that because that is awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Josh says, "Nice freckles, Brad."
That is pretty cool. Cool.
I mean, that's
Cool
one thing
news
to think
update right
about.
there,
I mean, you
Brad.
could, if you took some of those trucks maybe and took them to where you were going to do it, if you're going to do it at the Eli Field, that might be something too, where there'd be trucks out and they could do the photo truck or whatever. I don't know, but it's a definite draw.
There was ideas up in the air, like if we did the RC event, and then Mark brings out the real truck and do a car crush like they do at the Bigfoot Open House, or even even a suggestion of maybe doing it at one of their county fairs and let people watch. There's
do the
tons
race
of
there.
ideas.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and have people watch and have a good time and stuff like that, and put it in the program and stuff. And there's a bunch of different stuff going on. But as right now, it's like right now there is, I guess, a 60% chance of having it again next year. Right now, their minds is getting ready for this big Monster Jam Central Tour that we are part of for next year, starting in Baltimore, Maryland. So
nice. You guys are coming up to Grand Rapids, Van Andel Arena.
Yes, just let me know. Let me know, and we'll get you in. So, in Toledo, Ohio, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Austin, Raleigh. I guess we're going to Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. That should be close to Brad.
Nope. Other side of Canada, my friend.
I know, that's why I said that. Just trying to make people assume that Canada is like Rhode Island, where you could just spit at your neighbor, and it's between Vancouver and Toronto. So I know the truth. It's not. It's very far away.
Oh yeah.
But still, that's pretty exciting and stuff like that. And talk about these mini RC trucks that you have, because I saw them at the open house or the run, and they got my brain turning. And what got you? What's about it? And what got you to push those things? Because you're doing bodies to them too.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to do it for a long time. You see the ones from Spin Master, Hot Wheels back in the day, different brands do it for, some independent trucks. And I always just thought, man, we could just totally make one of these into an RC. It'd be, fairly easy, changing out the axles and stuff like that. And actually Kevin Talbot did it, a huge YouTuber, and got to it before I did. He did a whole bunch of just hot gluing stuff in place, and man, he had it 4-steer and everything, really wicked. So then I started thinking about, how could I do it with an SMT and some other stuff? Cause they get expensive because they're getting parts from all different types of RCs from China and different things, to make it work. And so then I saw a Full Throttle RC YouTuber had created a chassis you could buy and 3D print the files. But again, it was off this HBX setup, which looks more scale, harder to get your hands on stuff, and you're changing out so many things. And it would just be one of those things like, that's too much. I can't see that many people jumping on board with doing that. And then ECB 3D printing, I saw, came out with one that was pretty much just a direct conversion over for the SCX24 by Axial. Just take it all over. And he used the AMT model wheels or tires.
Do you have one next to you?
eBay. I have.
It's okay. If you have to move, you have to move. We ain't professional.
I actually do have one here. I was taking pictures of it earlier.
That is cool.
This is an Earth Shaker one that I'd been working on, that I just kind of used the body and stylings of the Earth Shaker. But this is by Southwest Monster Shop. This is their chassis. It's carbon fiber. It's really hard to get because everybody wants one right now. But they 3D kind of modeled the cage with some of their, it's like their KK2 chassis or KK3. I don't know what they're on now. But yeah, so he designed this really cool one, and it uses SCX24 axles, transmission. You could use electronics. They're just not fast enough. So we found, they found, him and Michael McKenzie, Ernie did, and Michael McKenzie, a brushless system that's the exact same size as the stock brushed. And it's a little Surpass brushless motor. Sorry, one of my shocks came unscrewed, so it's kind of dangling down here. I've been meaning to get to it for about a week, but been so busy. But that little
Is
blue
that
motor
it?
in there is just a brushless motor. That's an exact size swap. And just take the pinion off the stock one and stick it on here and get a little brushless ESC up here. It costs about $80 for the conversion of that system. And these are hard tires. They're meant for models like the USA 1 Revel model, or AMT is the brand that made it. But you can just buy the tires for like $15, and then they 3D print the wheels that go in them that look pretty cool in scale.
So comparing one of those to a normal size solid axle, what's the cost kind of about?
Unfortunately, it's about the same. It's a boot.
Oh, wow.
A boot.
A bullet.
So this one, I mean, I went too far over and above. I did like hot racing metal axles, and I changed the overdrive gears in because it's a worm gear system. So I did overdrive gears in it to get more speed, because the brushless system isn't the fastest. So that helps. But those are $20 per axle. So that's 40. The axles each has metal or 50. I have about $600 into this one. So
Wow.
you can do it for about 350 to 400. Because if you figure it's $140 for an SCX 24, you're looking at $120 for this chassis and the wheels shipped. So you're already at $250. Brushless, I said, was another 100. That's $350. The long shocks are another 40. So you're getting up there about that 350, 400
for a 1/24 scale.
Yes, and that's why I'm pushing so hard for somebody to make it stock. If we could just get it, I mean, it's because when you buy things one off, no matter what the car is, it costs so much more. If you were to just buy and piece together an LMT from pieces, it's way more expensive than to buy a ready to run. So I think that they could pop these out brushless for about $230 is my guess. Maybe less.
Okay.
But they shouldn't do it unless it's brushless and can go, because people are going to be disappointed. So, but I would say,
did you see Greg there at the event?
Yes, I did, and I showed it to him. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm working on for him as well. Yeah.
And talk about that. Is it a vacuum, or you like?
Yeah,
you
I got a
clutch
vacuum former, and I'm just having fun.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm loving it. I'm loving your posts and stuff, especially the Max D trucks.
Yeah,
the Max Ds are awesome looking.
So this one doesn't really work on this chassis so well because it's so wide on the top, but it works great on the other one that I have. So it really depends. I've got an Avenger one somewhere. Oh, here it is.
Don't you have a Monster Mutt one too?
Yep, Monster Mutts. There's Avenger.
That's sick.
That's pretty cool.
I don't think I have Monster Mutt here. I did one of the Gravedigger ones just to test it. So that's doable.
So what you just put? You put the 1/24 scale body, and then you vacuum it.
I just put it in the vacuum machine, and half of them I haven't done anything with except take them off and stick it in the machine and have fun and rip it. Like an Escalade, could be Monster Energy, it could be Jester, it could be anything. You know, many of the SUVs that are out there. So, yeah. So I'm having fun with it. I just want to see it grow, like, because it's cold here in Michigan. And so that's what's pushing me more is I want to see them start, people racing them in basements, or all you need is a room. Like, you don't need to have a big area.
Yeah.
You could go and rent, a little room at a community center and put tables around the outside and race in the middle. Small room. Doesn't have to be big. Most hobby shops could host one if they have a small room where they allow people to build models and stuff.
We should do one event at a hobby shop where they do people play Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons, and we sit right next to them racing. Hey, what's going on? Go, 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 go. They'd be like,
one thing.
We're more nerdy than you are.
One thing that's coming to my brain with the whole these smaller versions is somebody like myself that wants to get into the solid axle game but doesn't have the money. but can possibly afford one of the smaller versions, that's something that it gets somebody into it. Then eventually you can upgrade to the solid ox or the SMT or LMT or many of like the custom clodbusters and stuff. So I think that's be a good stepping stone for somebody that's a noob at the whole RC monster truck game. And
when I'm ready to start helping with it, make crush cars. I mean, you can literally, they're still lightweight. I can vacuum form jumps and ramps, and then we could just set out and have different ramps and things that just out of plastic, paint them different colors for the different size, and you're good to go. So it doesn't take much because of them being light. You just tape them down or Velcro them. Get a certain type of carpet you bring everywhere. Just stick the ramps right Velcro into the carpet. Put Velcro down as your lines, and you could be off and running and have a whole setup to go racing with. And I just think I reach for this thing all the time. I drive them around here. I got the little Sphero. Remember those little ball BB-8s that they sold for a little while?
Oh yeah.
They made little ramps for them. So I keep getting like these packages from like school supply stores. And my wife's like, what in the world? Why the crap are we getting? And it comes with like a whole box of like little kid COVID masks, because they think that it's like a teacher or educator buying this. So they're also like, hey, here's a free gift for your classroom. So now I've got like hundreds of these little kids masks that we just gave to my sister-in-law to take back to use at their school. But yeah, they're just little ramps and they click together and they're the perfect size. Again, Michael McKenzie told me about those. I don't take any credit for it.
I have one request. If anyone's on here, and please send him, if Hot Wheels ever made a 1/24th scale model of the toy diecast of Wild Thing, send it to CCRC. So then you can vacuum, and then there is a 1/24th scale skull to put on a monster truck. How awesome would that be? The old
I've got a
Wild
bunch
Thing
that I've ordered, because there's a bunch out there. So I ordered Taz. I'm looking at maybe the Wolverine one and some truck body ones.
One? I don't know if they made a Reptoid one.
I don't know.
You could do Brutus.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Brutus?
Crustacean I ordered.
Yeah. That
looks like it'd be doable. So many of them are doable.
And even like the like other kind of like die casts, like the Jada Toys line, like you can have so many different bodies and different options, and that's such a cool thing.
Yeah, I've thought about like Gas Monkey Garage and some of the other ones too that are cars, but then also just buying some metal cars.
Yeah,
because there's like the models. There was a Revell I think made different metal bodies for their models, and you can get car ones, and I could just hit them with the hammer and make some different crush cars. And
would models work too? Like, I mean, like I'm trying to think of what scale those models are. If anyone I don't even know the Raminator ones, them or the USAs and the Bigfoots, the model diecast model trucks from early, or I forget. They're like the
ones they should glue together.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. AMT made them. There was like a
snap tight
one. Yeah. There was Revell snap tight. They need to be reinforced. So one of them I just did. So here's basically what I've done to it to make it into like a buck that they'd use for 3D printing.
Okay.
Fill in the windows, because otherwise it sucks in. It's like pop. It sounds like a gunshot going off in the office, but it keeps it from sucking it in too far. But also makes it, when it sucks underneath it too, because it vacuums, around. If there's nothing there, it keeps sucking in. So to remove it's really hard. You literally have to cut everyone out if you don't do like a form like this, so it'll release.
And probably doing it the vacuum form way compared to 3D printing is probably better on the cost too, because the
time.
The time and everything, because I guess the filament for 3D printing can be quite expensive.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It would be more expensive for sure. Time is a big deal, and then the fragile and weight. So, but what I want to start doing is actually having somebody 3D print the mold for me that already has the windows kind of just recessed and have that base on them. And then I would just kind of put filler in and smooth it out. and that would be what I would use to make a mold from if I want to do it full time. I'm not trying to be a J Concepts. I'm not trying to be Proline. As soon as they start bringing stuff to the market that's ready for these, I'm ready to tap out. But like, it's kind of just like, hey, let's get some interest here, show people how many people want them. And if there's a lot of people doing it, you got to figure for everybody that takes the time to custom make one, there's probably 15 to 20 people that would buy one that wouldn't take the time to do the custom making. And it also is like, I could see them being sold at shows and stuff because they're small enough. Like somebody would buy it for their kid because it doesn't seem like they'd break the house if they, crashed it into something, But yeah. So there's a lot of stuff. For now, I'm just kind of going with some that I think are fun. There'll be a couple truck ones. And again, I'm not trying to step on toes and stuff. I saw there's Samson out there, and I know J Concepts has licensing and stuff with Samson. I'm not even gonna do that because they probably would bring it out in the 124th on their own. So it's like, it's not about that for me,
or any Bigfoot line that bodies that they come out with, a Bigfoot and stuff like that. But that it's still,
they've already got some Fords already.
Yeah.
J Concepts does. Yep.
And then you're gonna find a Chrysler diecast anyway. So I mean that it also, anyone wants to bring a popular Ram or Jeep truck out, having hot stuff or Mopar Magic, something like that. And that's also the room. I feel like you have a lot more expressions, I guess, with the 124th than you would have the 110 scale, because you can have access. If you have the access to a vacuum or something like that, I think it'd be a lot easier than, I guess, for example, the Wild Thing body. How the hell you're gonna get what that is a 110 scale version of it? You know what I mean? It's you can find a 124th scale of the truck, and then someone like you or someone who has a vacuum just suck it in and boom, and then there's the process. I mean, that's harder, I think, to find, trying to build a skull out of clay and then do it that way. You know what I mean? But still, I mean, that's still pretty cool. Predator 2, that's another truck that people may, love to see, and also like that stuff. But
the T-Rex one, the Bigfoot T-Rex, that sold as a metal model from, I think it's from Revell, and there's a couple of the Bigfoot. There's a Jaws one, themed one, and then there's a couple other trucks that are metal bodied and they're bigger. So these are technically too small. And they're even too small on the toys themselves, honestly. If you look at it, the scale's kind of a little off. But it still has kind of a fun look. So, I mean, if somebody really wanted to do it, 3D printing it and scaling them up just a bit would be the way to do it. So there's not so much tires on it, But
that reminds me right there of the 2009 to 2000, 16 Avenger. I mean, that right there kind of reminds me of it.
Yeah.
It still looks pretty cool. And then you said there's another chassis that fits the Max D body too, right?
Yeah, I think that's sitting up on the vacuum former.
Okay, no problem.
Yep.
Gotcha. So I mean,
and that's a cheaper option. And for 3D printing, like, these are not big trucks. It would take a lot to even break a 3D printed one. So, if this isn't the one that you can get your hands on, if you don't want to spend this much money, you want to go cheaper, you could get into the other one for about $60 for chassis and wheels and have a ton of fun as well. So, that's the one I was doing as my Bigfoot, and I was doing the stoppies and nose wheelies and stuff. Or the Max D, I was doing like moonwalks and stuff with that smaller chassis one. So, not even smaller chassis, but it's not the expensive. It's my cheaper truck. That's how I should say it.
Well, still, you're giving options to everyone that is maybe interested in that stuff too. Being a representative, like I said, especially being a person that pushed the LMT, I saw videos and stuff like that from you even before they even, when they kind of started releasing it. You had a big push on that. for being a person that was from the start pushing that product, were you surprised on how successful the product is right now? Especially, if people are complaining about, the axles cracking, well, that's a small deal. There was a lot other RC trucks that had a lot bigger issues than that, just that. So,
Oh yeah, we've
um,
cracked axles on everything from the first ones on. Like if it wasn't a freestyle RC axle, we were cracking them, whether it was uh,
mhm.
a Clodbuster or an SMT10 or Wheelie Kings or what's the other one? The why am I playing a Red Cat?
Rick, yeah,
The
yeah,
ground pounder.
Ground pounder.
Ground-
Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
I
But
don't know.
how do you like the success of it right now?
I think it's awesome. I think it's brought it to the industry in a way that's more than just people that are interested in monster trucks, because one, it's just so much fun to drive. So in that way, it's opened the door for people that just want something to play with and have a good time.
Mhm.
Because you don't have to open it up and have big jumps to have fun with it. The way that it just handles and kind of the body rolls, and there's a realism to it too that's just fun to watch. And some of that has to do with it. It's a little top heavy, but the real trucks aren't super light,
Yeah, they're not.
So there, it just gets this roll to it, and when it gets upset, it just looks amazing, especially when you put it into slow motion to match, not just like as slow as you can go with your cameras, but like what Big America does.
Yeah, I was
He
just about to
just
bring
like
him up.
he makes it like real to the speed that people would approach the jumps with, and then he adds the engine sounds. He's deceived so many people into believing that it's a real monster truck, or that people are CGIing it and it's not an RC car. So
I
it's wild.
remember the first time I saw one of his videos, I'm like, wait a second, is this an RC? Like, so like, the popularity of solid axle monster trucks has gotten huge in the last couple of years. And do you think that was started with the SMT10? Do you think that was the catalyst that set this all off for the solid axle monster truck stuff?
I think that in some way it definitely made it more available for people to get into the hobby. I got into racing with the SMT10. And I thought I was going to go there. I'd watch people race and I'm like, my God, these guys cannot drive. Like you watch it and you think they're all over the place. And, what in the world is going on? But until you get out there, you don't realize how hard it is in that environment, in the moment. It's not just playing in your backyard anymore. But I got destroyed. I was terrible. And I'd been driving RCs at that point for years, and thought I was pretty good, but I was terrible. But the SMT10 made it just so that anybody could go buy one and then upgrade the snot out of it to get it to do anything, and you could then race. But yeah, it was very disappointing and underwhelming out of the box. You could barely jump it off of a kicker ramp. It's like it fell off it. It's like taking one of these SCX 24s off of a jump before
Like,
you upgrade the.
It's crazy how the SMT, they did everything like to a point. Then the drive system in the ESC was all from a crawler,
Yeah,
and not
even the
knowing
motor.
that, yeah,
I don't remember if it was a 27 turn or a 35 turn. I just remember being like, what? Either way, it should have been a 16 turn, like. But they probably had it around from all their other builds. It was like,
Let's just throw it in.
This is our fastest one. We got a 27 turn. But it was just axial at that point, right? I feel like one of the things that really pushed it onward was when Horizon Hobby and Axial came together, and that just kind of opened up some more. One, the license and all of that with Feld came with Axial, and so then there's this partnership that these trucks have sold, even though they're not great. Because what they did is that it disappeared forever, right? Remember, it's like, oh, when are these coming back? People are buying them up, trying to have them because it may not ever come back. And it took over like a year, and then they came back with that new version that had the metal gears in it, and it was ready to go brushless right out of the box. And it was faster anyway out of the box because they did put like a 15 turn or whatever in it. But and even then, you can bash it and you can do tricks. Big America was running his with stock stuff for a little while, doing the moonwalks and stuff. His first moonwalk was with a brushless system, a brushed system in it. So they definitely changed the game with that. And then the LMT, the first time I drove it, I'm like, this is game changing. And I think part of the complaining we get is it did bring a whole bunch of new people into the monster truck world that came from like the bashing world. And I'm one of those people. And so what did I do with it? I took it off the biggest ramps I had in the backyard and just sent it. And then I had people that for the first time came over and drove it, Matthew Hall, sending it off the big ramp. And we did break the axles, but I mean, we would have broken any RC car we'd thrown off it that day, whether it was A-arms or anything. So the complaints, I think, are unwarranted in many ways, but it's just part of the hobby, and it's part of even the real trucks. They break stuff all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
So
that's what. And Josh put out a good point. He said, a lot of people that are complaining can't drive. So I don't know. A lot of people that have been complaining have been doing that. And, and the cool thing about the LMT is the people at Horizon went to other solid axle monster truck people to get feedback and trying to get, even went far enough to get a hold of Adam and Ryan Anderson, Mikey Botters Jr., from Overkill Evo, and just get feedbacks from them about the truck itself. And
Bari as well.
And Bari, sorry Bari, don't kill me. I'm just kidding. But stuff like that. So it's pretty cool getting the feedback and whatnot. And then you having people now already starting to build parts like Freestyle RC did, and I forget, it starts with a T. Teal is a big company.
Trio, Vidavon. Yep.
Mm-hmm. They've been doing cool things. That's one cool thing about the hobby of RC in general, is as soon as a product comes out, there's already people coming up with modifications or newer stuff to make the product better.
More expensive.
Yeah.
Which is okay. It's got to have a starting point to get it out the door, right? So if people were to see the LMT and it was $1,500, if it was $1,000, it's people aren't going to buy it, but they'll upgrade it to $1,000. It's just there's this mindset in our minds that when you do it a little at a time, it's different than throwing it all out the door at once. And so I appreciate that. Let people make them stronger. We were doing it for the other stuff. Freestyle RC was out there when we needed really strong axles for other trucks and there wasn't anything, and they were making it so you could just jump it off of a roof and you wouldn't break your axles. And so here these guys come to the game, and Vidavon, Trio, whatever, are making these so you can really bulletproof the truck. I mean, I just beat the snot out of mine. Both the ones that have the Trio and the Vidavon axles. And they're not cheap. It's not cheap to do it. So I don't even remember what the cost of the axles were. Honestly, it's been a while since I bought them. But I want to say it was like $200 a set up, front and rear. It's like $400. It really jumped the price up. But they're bulletproof now. Might have been $350 for both. $175. I don't know. I don't want to give wrong numbers. But I mean, if you want to go bulletproof, that's the way. Otherwise, honestly, the stock axles do great. In my race trucks, I freestyled it. We were trying to do moonwalks and doing crazy stuff, and they're not broken. So, not even cracked, not even a little bit. So, you don't have to do the big stuff. But the ones that I freestyle really hard, it's worth it to me because I land weird all the time. Like I land in axle snapper positions quite a bit because my driving style, as Josh said, is not very good. So I'm the kind of guy that breaks the axles.
But I don't think you complain a lot.
No, I don't. And I've never been one. Like I can't remember the last time that I warrantied a product. You know, if a servo goes, I'd usually go buy a better one. If an arm broke, it's usually my fault that the arm broke. You know, like I hit a curb or I hit a tree, or so. Yeah, you know, I just own up and buy the part, get it fixed, and good to go.
How do you feel about the different levels or the different types of solid axle monster truck? Not just the LMT and the so-called, I guess what we put in the group with the Pro Mod, but there's retro and also
Retro is my favorite.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Retro is my favorite. Retro is a game changer in that it kind of equals out the playing field. If the tracks are set up right, it's not about having the fastest truck on it's all about getting it to bounce right or not get squirrely off of like the crush cars or whatever. So ours always had some kind of an element, and I know the Showtime guys always have a ton of stuff that makes it so you can get your truck just stuck, or like old school days where you get off the crush car is weird and it slows you down. So that's what I like about it. You know, that it's not the same guy winning every week, typically, at least where we raced. So it was the first class I won in. It's the first class I could, get past the first round in usually at the beginning. And there was just something cool about that, that you just never knew what your truck was going to do. And that was fun. It's just bouncy and slow. And I love the old trucks anyway, and the crush cars pulling that stuff out. And every time I post it, like the TikTok, it gets a lot of views. People just think that the bouncy old trucks are so cool and dorky. But yeah.
That's I just try to make, like I said on my I always use the basis, but I try to make every section as realistic as possible, and I think I got a lot of people giving awesome feedback of the first race that we raced in my event with the hill and then the little car and then the finish line type deal. And
it pains me so much not to be able to run that course.
Oh really?
Because my trucks, and I appreciate what you guys do in the limitations that you put on what the trucks can do. I think that the stock pinion rule is great. Don't modify the gear cases. Awesome. Because I started going to leagues where I had to, like, otherwise there's no fun. Like, so mine has the motor mounts in it that you can change pinions and all that. And so for me to have changed back, I don't even know where my stock caps or any of that stuff are anymore. So I couldn't, even if I'd have put it in 13 tooth, I wouldn't have been able to run. But I think that's good. And I think that's where it should stay, is slow and like equalized in a way, It's all about tuning your shocks and bouncing just right.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I mean, it's pretty cool to have like J Concepts build the regulator chassis.
Yep.
So people can build their old school truck, and it's pretty cool how that comes about. And how cool is it also seeing so many people making trucks that look like the old school trucks in general.
Yeah, I have one of the Diaz Designs leaf sprung chassis here to do. I want to do a leaf sprung truck next. But yeah, seeing the stuff that they're doing, he's doing some really scale looking trucks on Facebook, where he's modeling them after the look of the actual chassis and everything for the real trucks, and I think it's fantastic. I think the scale realism, and so I was talking to Harley Designs, who does scale stuff, works for Vanquish, and he was big into the crawler scene, and then it became like the scale scene now is what everything is. Everything's make the trucks look as scale as possible, and then more trail, somewhat competitive, but they've kind of pulled back. They want a little bit of realism in the trucks too, not to just be like competition crawlers. And I think that I like seeing how the RCs have gone in a way that way too with the monster trucks. Everybody's trying to go for scale details on their trucks, which I think is super cool. Takes it to another level when you start seeing all the trucks out there looking the part. And yeah, I think it's cool. I like the 2.2 class too. The different classes, it just makes it easy to run multiple trucks in a day. As much as I think the LMT is awesome, I have my Freestyle RC Pro Cs. I love those trucks because for guys that have trouble driving like me, when they soak up that landing, like I can land like this, sideways, and it just goes and just like sticks and keeps going all four down. I kind of need that help. But I think that the hobby and I think the scene for monster trucks is going in the right direction. I think there's a lot of energy behind it. And I think that having new releases, I keep prodding and saying, come on, Traxxas, what are you going to do? Like, because I think competition helps drive it as well. So if they innovate something, like LMT innovated a ton of stuff, took it beyond where the SMT10 had took it. Now it's like you want a little bit of that competition in driving it forward and bringing new stuff to the market and keeping it fresh and keeping people interested in it. So I think the small scale stuff helps with that a little bit. But I don't think anybody's going to give up on racing their quads either because, they're fast.
Now, how do you like? Is it? But the sport mod division, too. I don't know who else uses that sport mod thing. They're trying to reenact the '90s trucks and stuff like that.
Yep.
But how do you think about that kind of division? I don't know who else does it. So I'm
I don't know. I know that there's a different one that they've been used in East Coast where there's like weight restrictions and all that. Like it has to be full chassis, like tube or cage chassis. I like that. I like the realism aspect of it. Have to have shocks on axles. So the more things that you get go on scale, I think is cool. You always want the pro mod because they just go next level with how crazy and fast. Like what that new Freestyle RC, that's just like insanely fast that they're running right now. The Rapid X2. I mean, just they're pushing the boundaries on fast, and so that's cool to see. But I do love for the realism aspect of it, like what we're trying to model, or the monster trucks that are being driven now and in the past. So I do like that sport mod does bring in some of those rules because your sport mod has to have a full chassis, right? Or no, yours doesn't.
No, ours is just based off the 17 turn brush motor,
so
and
slowing
then
it down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, a lot of the guys, it's just
like a
based
spec
off
class.
Yeah.
So I like a spec class, but I like that when the spec class makes it look realistic. Because otherwise the chassis guys, like we all want to have these cool realistic chassis, but you can't race them because you suck. When everybody else has like a little tiny little piece of metal with a plastic body up on body post, elevated to the sky over the truck.
Yeah.
Right in there, shocks, like mine, my Pro C, the shocks are cantilevered. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see some sort of scale truck where it has to have a chassis kind of rule in some class. That way people can show up with their showpiece trucks. Otherwise, it's only a show and shine truck.
That's why a lot of people that like to start with sport mod around our area likes to buy the SMT, the builder's kit, because now that's chassis right there. Yep. Then they can buy the 4-link bars and then use the axles from the SMT, and then make a decent shafty for a sport mod, and all they have to do is just buy a brush 17 turn motor and a hobby wing ESC that can run with it, and then
and technically in your sport mod class it would still be competitive to have an SMT10, I would say. At 17 turn, so you could still run scale and look scale and compete with some of the other trucks, I would say, probably. But I mean, it's so cool to see. And Losi, like you said, going through and doing the stuff with the Andersons and with Bari, Mikey and Kevin Hitmansky and the different people that they pulled in. I think they did some stuff that one is innovative in a way, but also two brought it back to a bit of a scale realism in, the way that it handles with the shocks on axles is unlike most trucks when you make a shock on axle. So, but I was, privileged to be a part of just doing the video with them for that and getting to see it firsthand. I had nothing on the back end of designing it, but once I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna push this as hard as I can because this is gold for a ready to run.
Now, Josh Rhodes was asking you a question here. It says, Tony, what part you like to see Horizon develop to hop up the LMT? Hip hop around this. I personally like to see some optional gearings for the diffs.
Okay. I could see that. I think the main thing that I would want is better sway bars. I break the stock ones all the time. On my freestyle truck, I've actually taken them off. It's like, one, it just looks cool. It looks like when Ryan Anderson gets on the side and the wheels are going like opposite ways of each other, it twists the truck more. And so I just like that look. But I do break those, and they don't have a very scale look to them. I would like to see something that works as good as the ones that come with it stock, but are more durable and actually have that look. So of a more scale sway bar. But yeah, I think diff gears, I think overall the diffs in the drivetrain is insane in those trucks. And so I can see people building stuff using that, kind of like Freestyle did with the Traxxas stuff. That diff setup in there it takes a beating. The stock truck, the ready run truck that I got from them for the video shoot is still running. I haven't taken the diffs out of those axles other than to put them in the metal casings. I haven't changed any fluids. It is just like a beat up truck, and it still just goes. I haven't broken or chipped any teeth. It's just, I put in new sway bar, the little pieces that break, and that's about it nowadays, and new rod ends, and just keep pounding it.
So, how do you feel also about the different types? People can run a shafty or a clod. A lot of guys and a lot of different types of racing. They have different forms of, they have to do this type and this type and this type. Where in the solid monster truck type deal, you have an option to build either a clod, dual axle clod, or a shafty.
Some people say that, it's always going to be better to have the clod buster because you can time the two different motors a little bit differently for front to get more pull. I said there's trade-offs in both depending on the course. And so, I don't have an issue with them running together. It gets a little trickier, I think, with retro because of gearing and things like that. Because it's not, if you're limiting pinions, but you're running dual motors for the clod buster, have they worked out the ratios of having a transmission and the gear reductions to that, and then the axles and the gearing that they're running in the axles, if they're running overdrive gears or any of that for the leaf sprung trucks to keep them a competitive speed running the same turn motor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's more options to change stuff from the spur gear. It's harder to limit them, I would say. So that's the one where it gets a little iffy. But yeah, I don't have an issue with them running together. I don't know enough. I'm not a racer, so I kind of fell into this. I liked monster trucks as a kid. I saw a Gravedigger monster truck at my hobby shop and said, "That's awesome. That's like the ones on TV and in the stadiums at the Pontiac Silverdome we used to go to. I want to have that." And so, finally convinced my wife to let me spend $230, which seemed like a fortune to spend on a toy car at the time. Boy, she did not know what we were getting into when she let me buy that, but because that's cheap. But in our world, but yeah, I mean, and then from there, I mean, I rode that just as the only truck I had as a Stampede Gravedigger for a couple years, and then finally got a Clodbuster and a SMT10, and then 4 more SMT10s. And I don't personally like Clodbusters for racing. I tried it. I didn't like how they handled. I couldn't get used to it. I didn't know how to tune it. So I finally settled on the Freestyle Pro C as being the one that I drove the fastest, and kind of gone from there. But I'm still figuring it all out because, again, I'm not a car guy at all. Like, you could be like, go check the specs on the rotary girder, and I'd be like, okay. I have no idea. Like, I wouldn't even know if that was a car part or not. You know, to quote Tommy Boy, the rotary girder part. But
yeah, that's shut up, Richard. You should.
I mean, so everything that I was telling somebody the other day, that everything that I know about cars I've learned from RCs, and what I know about monster trucks I've learned mostly from RCs, because I just loved watching them go crush cars when I was a kid. You know, that was my background. Pontiac Silverdome was a great place to watch monster trucks, and yeah, and then we happened to move down by Digger's Dungeon, and you know, got to see the trucks there and on the monsters on the beach in Virginia. And now I'm here in Coopersville, Michigan, I guess right by Monster Truck Throwdown. I guess they're based up here. Cine Stars is up here. So
same thing with Reckless Driving, and then the parents are from that area too.
Okay.
Little Miss Dangerous, High Maintenance, and then you know,
I need to find out what they're doing.
You know, and then you're not really that far. You're in a central. You went to the eastern part of the monster truck world. You're originally from Michigan, right?
Yeah. Yep. Ann Arbor area.
Ann Arbor, you know, that's near Kohler's neck of the woods, and then
yep.
You know, if you drive a little bit south, you're gonna maybe hit Lafayette, where Dirt Crew and Quad, and then if you go a little bit west, you hit the Hall Brothers and maybe Mr. Tom Mentz, and then you know, if you go further west past that, there's some Big Blue Ford too in Missouri.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, I've heard of that guy. I think he was around some time ago.
But still, I mean, where you're at now, I mean,
great place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, Virginia didn't have a lot that I enjoyed to do outside of the beach. There was not much, and it was too hot. So I'm liking it here. We're enjoying that there's mudding everywhere. People go mudding and off-roading and sand dunes and
lake.
Yeah, the monster trucks are everywhere here. Lakes are everywhere. I mean, the big like diesel boats that go flying behind my house. It's insane. So yeah. It's cool. Now I just need to find out where everybody's running them, and I know they do them around me because when we moved here, I just missed a show. And I passed the monster truck throwdown semi or large trailer when I was coming back from Horizon RC Fest.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff around like the Ionia. They do the Ionia Free Fair. That's kind of where Elliot's based out of there. So they do a lot of stuff. I don't know the last year they did it, but they normally do the Soaring Eagle Casino show there. I'm not sure exact what town that's in, but yeah. I know that they're Michigan's they do a lot of shows during the summer, you know, with Throwdown, and other crews do a lot of shows up there.
Well, very cool. I can't wait to go to them. So yeah, I almost moved to Ionia. We were looking at, there was a property that had like 50 acres as an old rock quarry, like gravel pit. And I wanted to do like an off-road course there. And just the cost of lumber and stuff was too much to really get into building what we wanted to build, because my in-laws live with us and move with us. So it was going to be a little tricky. Plus, it was like across from a prison, we ended up finding out, or some kind of prison thing. My wife was not keen on that. So, but yeah, we were looking over there, And that's actually, I go out that way to go to it. There's an RC course out that way toward Ionia. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely want to get in and see. And I know that they've been showing, Cine Star has been at all these different things for like new shops opening, parking the truck out front. And I just need to go to one of those when I see it pop up on our Facebook page. So, but man,
LA
I can't wait. I still need to get to the home of the Bigfoot. I haven't been there yet.
Oh yeah, the Bigfoot open house.
Yep.
You know, it's always. I mean, a lot of the guys here, a lot of the guys that ran in my event do Trigger King, and they're really excited when they know that you're going to be hopefully to stop by and play around at one of our events. You know, I mean, it's an awesome atmosphere, and can't wait. Can't wait for you to have opportunity to come by.
Yeah, well, I can't wait. I'm definitely putting it on my schedule. I don't mind driving, so makes it easy that I can get to kind of anywhere from here. That's another thing, is it's kind of centralized in a way to get to a bunch of places.
Mm-hmm.
Not as well as maybe Nashville would have been, but.
Are you thinking about doing some of the Michigan events? I know there's a Michigan RC group that
I just missed one, so they're about 3 hours from me.
Okay.
So it might be hard to do every month, but I have my mom lives probably an hour from where they run, so I can probably go and spend the night before, so I wouldn't be getting up early. Like your event, the one thing that killed me was like, what time did you open the doors?
7:30.
Yeah. That was early, but it was good. It wasn't like things were rolling at that point, but it was nice to get in and get set up and.
Because the thing got rolling at like 10ish that we wanted to do. You know, I mean, we want to get there at least earlier so people could get their stuff going. If they have to register, or maybe, oh man, I don't have time to, put this part on. Well, you get there, put that part on. I mean, you have time to do it.
I had to do that. I had to change tires. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Congregate and talk to people, and you just want to be prepared for anything that can happen. Like my routine saying goes in the monster truck world is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Now, if
they're like me, you don't know what you're rolling into until you get there, because you might not have touched your truck since the last race.
Yeah, but still, the time, giving people at least a 2-hour scenario on getting stuff done. And
you open the doors for us is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And the time difference helped me, so it was a bonus, because it's like I slept in an extra hour.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for that. That was very considerate of you guys.
But man, I know you have another scenario here in a couple minutes. I forget that you're in the East Coast area, and out here out west. Well, Brad's in you're what?
Kanakistan.
2 hours and like another hour behind me. So it's pushing 8:30 for me. I know you have a thing at 9:45. If anyone wants to jump over to where are you doing an interview at next?
Just CCxRC. I do RC Conspiracies on Tuesday nights.
Okay. So if you guys want to jump over there on his YouTube channel and take a look at that stuff, and we'll have to have you back on. Maybe a little round table with Josh and a couple others, and I got the hiccups. And just have just a talk, stuff like that. But
man, it's fun to shoot the breeze.
This episode's one of those episodes where we put 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. One of those episodes. I mean, trying to get so much information. We could talk. This episode could have been like 3 or 4 hours long, to be honest with you, with questions and just talks and stuff like that. But man, it was awesome.
We could solve all the RC monster truck problems in about 3 to 4 hours if we had it to sit down and just hammer it out and find out what everybody likes.
Mm-hmm. And man, is there any social media? Obviously, people can follow you at and learn a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, everything I do is just CCxRC, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I have a website, CCxRC.com. That'll take you to pretty much all of them. And then we have a While My Batteries Charge podcast, which is an RC podcast. It's kind of like a behind the scenes more than it is a podcast. I've been having more guests on so that it'll be more
the
like
coolest
a podcast.
Name for an RC podcast, though.
Yeah, I had to add
batteries.
Yeah, while my battery's charged, I had to add RC podcast to the end because otherwise it didn't click any tag words or keywords as being about RC cars. So
See, when I hear the
even a
name of that
podcast,
when I hear the name of the podcast, my brain thinks of the song "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" for some odd reason.
So I really the goal of it was to make it so that it was like a 15 to 20 minute podcast, maybe 30. Like I'd stick my batteries on charge, I'd sit down on my Roadcaster, hit the record button, and then just here's what's happening. Like stuff I don't tell you about on the YouTube channel, just about behind the scenes kind of mind dump of whatever.
And when the batteries are charged, the show's over.
Yeah, it's
there it is. All right.
Beep. So we fake the beep because my Spectrum one doesn't beep anymore, but not like that. It doesn't make that iconic tone, so I have to add it as a sound icon. So
man. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, and
thanks for having me.
Hopefully we can have you on again. It was cool to talk to you about everything and about what we love so much, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, cool. Well, thanks for having me. Next time you need to have somebody on here that disagrees with us. Get a Josh on here, somebody we can like tag team against and just have a good time.
Yeah, but half the time I think Josh enjoys us. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we can have Josh on, and then we can have Matt Stoltz.
Ooh, there we go.
Handler.
Okay.
Or something like that. I don't know. Have Josh and Matt. They disagree but agree. So it'd be a fun time to watch that. But man, thank you so much once again, and we'll have you back on around. It'll be a good time.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you again, Tony.
We'll flip the tables. Have you guys on mine?
That'd be awesome.
That'd be
cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, man. Thank you so much.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Catch you later, man.
Well, guys, it was awesome having Tony on. Next week's our Christmas thing. Ready, Brad? Are you ready?
If it gets here, that's the thing, because customs can delay stuff.
Hopefully you can find a chip bag. If you can find it, let me know, but I'm still going to send it to you.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it no matter what. It's just, it might not get here on time.
Well, we'll figure. If not, I'll do it. I will be the one that will sacrifice myself. If Brad can't, if it doesn't ship, I'll take the one chip challenge.
But then I will do it at a later determined date.
Nope. You did eggnog. You'll get scot-free. If you don't get your thing by next week, you did the eggnog.
You know what? Just because you're my brother in arms. We've been doing this since the beginning. When mine comes in, I will do it. I am not backing down.
But I'm giving you a free pass, man. I'm giving you a free pass.
I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it.
You did the eggnog deal, and you tried.
Hey, I tried. I almost did it. Okay, yeah. I almost did it, but I am not backing down from doing the one chip challenge. I will do it. If it comes later, I will do it at a different date and time, and we will do it. Also, guys, I want to quickly plug this new podcast coming out of Canada here, Nitroholics. It's a podcast by me and Dalton Hastings about NHRA. We're going to be launching our Facebook page here soon. Guys, go check that out. Also, go check out Cheech and Phil, though, show. They're coming back.
We're starting next year.
Coming back next year. So Crush This is not going anywhere. Don't worry. Me and Cheech are not leaving the podcast at all. We're just wanting to branch out. I want to talk about my other passion, which is drag racing. Cheech and Phil talk about whatever they talk about. It could be dating. It could be football. It could be the price of stocks. I don't know.
You're right.
But go check that out, guys. And if you want to check me out on social media, it's at the Monster Truck Canucker on Instagram. Bradley Shaw here on Facebook and on Facebook and stuff. And yeah, what about you, Dan? Where did you got your carrier pigeons all lined up? What about your
It's winter time, so no carrier pigeons. You can collect as much snowflakes you want, but they're all going down. Since the mail and everything's all going to poop. So, or you can find me at Daniel CCxRC on Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on Snapchat. My RC group, on Facebook and on Instagram. Go check that out. Also, a couple of my, if you guys are fans of RCs, and I have a couple stuff. Look at Trigger King on Facebook. They also have a spread where you can buy posters and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But outside of that, guys, like I said, next week's our Christmas special. And then the week after that, I did a couple interviews at the Hall of Fame to kind of, if we ever got into a situation where Brad can't make it or anything like that, these are episodes I filled in. So this was going to be one of them for Christmas, since, be all busy on Christmas and stuff.
Yep.
Will be Alan Pizzo and the famous Predator truck. So we'll go ahead and do that and go from there. But we're gonna set off here, and me and Brad are gonna do some recording. So once again, guys, thank you so much. Brad, close it out.
All right, guys. Thank you to all our sponsors, people that take good care of us, give us giveaway stuff. Giveaways. Starting off with Joey Sylvester and High Octane Coffee. Since day one, Joe has supported us in what we are doing. Thank you, Joe, so much. Hopefully you're enjoying your honeymoon with your beautiful wife. Hopefully this time off that you're taking refreshes you for next year. We also like to thank JB Scale Graphics. Jonathan Arnold's in there doing a lot of awesome stuff for the RC world. I'm wanting to hopefully hit him up about getting some stuff done eventually myself. We also have Justin Stories with his book Making Tracks. They're on Amazon, $10 a pop. 6B Apparel, Chris and 6B Apparel, always since day one has supported us in what we're doing. Go get the shirt designs we have right now. We got the Retro Wave, which is the kind of newer logo that we've been running with, and the original logo, which is on Dan's shirt. New design hopefully coming up for next year. We're working on some stuff right now, logo wise, and coming up with some cool ideas for you guys. And just everybody else that supports us, you guys, thank you guys for all the 5-star likes and reviews on iTunes, the subscriptions on YouTube and everything, guys. But that means a lot to us. We do this for you guys, and with your guys' support, we continue to kick ass and do this. But as I always say at the end of these podcasts, guys, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. And Merry Christmas, everybody. Peace.
Well, next week.
Well, it's Christmas season, so I'm saying Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy
Kwanzaa.
Merry Festivus.
Yeah, Merry Festivus. And also, on American side, it's also the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
So I know we are kind of losing our World War II veterans. Time never waits on anyone. So more the time has become an enemy. So remember those, because we weren't going to be part of that war, but we got forced into it by other countries, and it became a stronger unite group to defeat the evildoers from Europe and Asia. So once again, just remember that day and honor those. So once again, guys, like Brad said, keep the rubber side down, the shiny side up. Good night. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.